Types of giving. A couple more principles. Subtractional, transactional, and transformational giving. What do we mean by subtractional giving? This is what most Americans and most people believe happens when they give. That I have a resource, I have money, I have a resource, and when I give it away, I am actually losing. I am actually losing something on the deal. Jesus said it's better to give, and you will receive far more than you've ever given. But we believe in our hearts we're actually losing a bit of money. And it happens so subtly, it just happens all the time. There's a book called Fields of Gold by Andy Stanley. If you haven't read it, I encourage you to pick up a copy, Fields of Gold. And the whole premise of the book is that when I give, I lose. That I'm not sure I'm going to have enough for retirement, or I'm not sure I'm going to have enough for college, or I'm not sure I'm going to have enough just to pay the bills. And it would be sure nice to bank that money and put it away, and it's just too hard to give. You know, once I get all this lined up, Lord, and I get it all fixed, then I'll give. You know, Lord, if I just could win that lottery and not have so much to give. Because you see, giving comes out of our excess, not out of our sacrifice. And Jesus calls giving sacrifices of worship. Sacrifices. That, yeah, it is a little bit of a sacrifice, but the bottom line is we actually get more, we receive more than we ever give. Eternal rewards. Randy Alcorn's book called Send a Treasure on Ahead. You're just emailing it to heaven. 100-fold what you give. But there's also rewards here on earth, right now. Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6, Jesus is teaching in the Sermon on the Mount, and he sees three people doing acts of righteousness. One was fasting, one was praying, and one was giving. One was fasting, praying, and giving, acts of righteousness. And the person who was giving liked to give so they could be tossed in the trumpets and make a loud noise so everyone would see what a wonderful person he was, what a sacrificial giver he was. And Jesus looked and said, he has his reward. What was the reward? The praise of men. The man who stands on the corner praying and grimaces and prays so that people will look at him and see what a wonderful Christian he was. Jesus said, they have their reward. What was their reward? The praise of men. The person who fasts and looks like he's disheveled and he's hungry and he stands there and everyone says, oh, he's fasting. What a spiritual leader. Jesus said, they have their reward. And it was the praise of men. God has far greater rewards for those who give in secret. It says, give in private and let your heavenly Father reward you in ways you've never dreamt possible because it's better to give than to receive. But we are satisfied with the temporal. You're not asking donors to make a subtraction, folks. God is their provider. God is requiring of them to give. It's one of the greatest blessings that they have. They're not losing. They're winning. It's a mindset we have to change. We don't beg. Oh, you have a lot and we have a little. Please just send a little of our way. You know, the haves and the have-nots. No, folks. We're the haves. God is going to provide what we need. They're the haves too. God is asking them to give because God provides for all of us. Transactional giving. We at the nonprofit world are really, really good at this. We're really, really good at transactional giving. You can call in on a TV show and give 20 or 50 bucks and get that mug or get that CD. Or on a radio program, call in today and we'll send the book. And we're going to send you the CD as well. Or these are fundraising auctions, where people come to make a transaction and get something in return, a quid pro quo transaction. And we believe that the transaction is more valuable than our vision. How many of you have been transformed by that mug that organization may have sent you? I am so blessed to have this mug look at my mug I gave. This is so wonderful. My kids, they're going to give just like me because of the mug. It's just not true. And we believe we need these trinkets to entice people because giving's not good enough because, of course, they're sacrificing and they're losing, right? So we give them something back. Oh, you're really not losing. You're getting a CD. Can you give a little more? Maybe double that. It's a matching gift. The transactional mindset dominates fundraising in our culture today. And sadly, donors are not being transformed in the process. They have their reward. they got the trinket. Jesus has a far bigger reward. I call that Jesus junk. That's fast food for the giver. And we have to tempt them and entice them with these little trinkets and toys. And Jesus has a far bigger thing for donors, a far bigger reward than that. Transformational giving is where I gain more when I give. As a matter of fact, the more I can sacrifice, the more I gain. In the parable of the talents, one was given. You need to read that word, given. 5. One was given 3, and that's 3. One was given 1. Who got the greater praise from the giver? The one who took the 5 and multiplied it with 5 more. And the one who took the 3 and multiplied it with 3 more. And the one who took the 1, what happened to him? It was taken away. It was taken away. What does that mean in a giving relationship? It says they were given these, and they took them, and they multiplied them. What they were given, they turned it into something even more. There's a wonderful principle in that about leveraging giving. There's a wonderful principle of when God gets involved with you in giving. The boy and his 2 fish and his bread, Jesus says to the disciples, I want you to feed these 4,000 or 5,000 people. Jesus said, I want you to do something. He looked at the disciples, and I believe he pointed his fingers, I want you to give them something. Their pockets were empty. They were empty. And a little boy's lunch becomes meal for 5,000. As Jesus takes and multiplies and multiplies. And, that's pretty cool, isn't it? A lot of people were fed. What do you think happened to the disciples' minds and heart when that was being multiplied and multiplied? What do you think they saw in their God who is able to provide all they need? Transformational giving is like that, where God is working with donors and He's multiplying it. God is working with your organization, and in the process, in the relationship, it's not a transaction. There is something going on between you and God as you rely on Him, and the donor and God. As you rely on this, a transformation can occur. But sadly, it cannot too. You may have your reward, or you may seek a greater reward, one not made by hands of men, and that's what God is working on in transformational giving.